Boom. Okay. I am attempting to start streaming. Okay. Bam. That is not centered, but I'm here, ready to debate. Okay, okadoke. Let's get this going. We're gonna be doing Discord calls. So let me get my here. I'm gonna calling Tom. Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hey, yo.
Hey, hold on. I am doing a thing, trying to see, is my video coming up? Wait, it
It's
doesn't sound like a
loading.
waterfront is running? Oh, I have to disable my
No.
webcam audio. Let me make sure my audio settings sound good. God, hold on. I have to, actually, hold on. I'm gonna turn off my heater that just kicked on. So
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. I am back, and I am trying to get this set up on my end, stream-wise. Uh, Pop out. Okay, we got that. Don't really need my face for this. All right, it's coming through. How are you doing, Tom?
Doing well. Okay, so you're gonna no video then?
It seems not.
That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. I just okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So how does I'm just making sure chat on my end. How does everything sound? Am I too lefty audio right now? Does it sound good on your end, Tom?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, checking with chat. How do I sound? Tipster, how do I sound? Okay, cool. All right, how you doing today, Tom?
Doing well. How are you?
Cool. Just sipping some coffee. Just wanted to talk to you about your coverage of the Keffals ex-partner SA situation.
Yeah.
So I just want to first start out. What made you care about it?
Well, real quick, I want to ask: Are you? So numerous times she's asked or she's stated that like Ellen is able to confirm X, Y, and Z. Are
Uh-huh.
you that Ellen?
No, I'm not her partner.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that that
No,
was not the case. Okay.
her partner is cuter than me. I am the second Ellen. I am the beta Ellen to her alpha Ellen.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know that anything like made me care about it. Um I'd been covering a lot more for like stuff with like tankies and shit like that, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying her like felt like a redemption arc, and I was enjoying it, and thought she was doing really well. And then the Xanderhall stuff as well. I was definitely like on her side with all of the Xanderhall stuff. I did a whole video essay on the like shoe on head stuff between him and her
Uh-huh.
about a year ago. And that was like this was like an extension of that. So I just happened to be covering like Xanderhall and her talking about this stuff. And then I thought she did some like dirty stuff to him in that kind of area or
What
that
dirty
time.
stuff did she do to Xander Hall?
I don't remember exactly. She was like, she was using some like manipulative language. I have it like my review of it's still up, but I was kind of getting annoyed in the way that she was talking to him during it, and then even the leaking of the DMs afterwards from him seemed really weird. When White Nervosa just like made a huge deal about the fact that if Xander Hall leaked DMs without consent, that he was going to get dropped from the website, but then Keffals leaked Xanderhall's DMs without his consent, and nothing happened and nobody cared about it. That was super odd to me. And then she did the Hassan video, which I covered, and she
Okay, I
said that
get.
there was like a
It seems
yeah,
like you're a bigger Keffals fan than I am. The
yeah.
I I'm just more curious about like why like I have some journalistic experience. And one
Mhm,
of the first things like when you're covering things or anything like that is to ask like who is it for, right? So I
mhm.
wanted to ask like in terms of like covering her essay allegations against her ex-partner and all that and stuff like that, who was that content for?
I cover news that happens in Twitch politics, so I I just happen to cover what's going
I
on.
mean, like, okay, there's lots of things that are news. Um,
Mhm.
there are like, okay, like a cat in a tree is news, but is it totally about like who like I just want to know like what kind of person in your community do you think um cares about Keffel's essay allegations against their partner, and why is this information needed to them?
I these are not things that I consider. Like, yes, a cat in a tree is news, but if there's bigger things happening, nobody's going to cover the cat in the tree. At this time, there was nothing bigger than the cat in
So
the
you
tree, so
I
I covered the fucking cat in the tree.
so like you just
Um,
like you needed content, so you decided to use someone's essay allegations just to fill up like I'm a streamer, I get it, it's hard to book things and get content. I just personally I
well,
would never I would
not even
understand,
just that.
but
We happen to like
I get
talk
covering a
more.
pop, as Tipster just said. I get covering a popular influencer having SA allegations and stuff like that. But we're more concerned on the take that what she experienced not being SA. I'm not so like really trying to defend Keffel's honor. I'm just trying to understand why you think it's
Just to be
not
clear, I've
SA.
never said that it wasn't sexual assault. I have said this a million times. I can clarify for the 100,000th time.
Okay.
I never said that it was not sexual assault. I've clarified so many fucking times. I never said she wasn't
Hold on.
abused. I never said that she
I
wasn't assaulted. I never said she wasn't raped. I
Okay,
haven't
so
not said
I'm
that.
just gonna ask you, Tom. If someone tries to have sex with another person and that person doesn't do or say anything to stop, but they just lay there, do you think that's consensual?
I don't think I would have enough information to make that determination. Do you
Okay.
think you have enough information there?
Oh yeah,
To
I think if like if I started having sex with my partner and they're literally starfishing there, I think it's on me to stop and make sure that they're okay. Because I don't know, my dick game isn't trash, so people don't really starfish for me.
Yeah, sure. So if she was starfishing, she didn't say that, but she did say that she was just laying there. But we didn't get other information about like facial expressions, body language, like shit like this. She did say that she was disassociating, so I'm not sure it
Hold
like
on.
what kind of
Uh,
disassociation
hold
that
on. I'm
is, because I would have trouble even taking this recollection based on what kind of disassociating it was.
like, do you think it's like, do you like care like that like the other person doesn't want it? Because like I feel like the in the hypothetical you've created or situation like that, it is more protecting the person wanting the sex than the person who doesn't want the sex. Is that like an
It
ethical
shouldn't be
situation?
protecting either person.
I mean, I think that like I feel like the person being had sex with should be the more protected party than the horny person. Should we
I
believe that's
think
true?
that discredits literally everything you're going to have to say on this topic.
How does that discredit what I have to
Well, you're
say?
saying that you're already leaning into one direction, feeling like there's like you should lean towards them in their
I,
favor for some
look,
reason. Whereas
I
I'm just,
care whether or not somebody wants to have sex with me.
uh huh.
Do you care whether the person you have sex with doesn't wanna have sex with you, or are you okay with getting sex
Yeah,
on
of
a
course.
technicality?
Yeah, of course I care.
Okay. So the whole like the reason that people are pushing for more affirmative consent models and stuff like that is because it accommodates people that are disassociative. Maybe they like freeze and stuff like that. I understand as a man, like me and you are probably around the same age. We did not grow up in an era where people think like, if a woman said yes, even under duress, back when we were growing up, that like society considered that consensual, and things have shifted. I agree with the shift. Do you not agree with the shift?
Yeah, of course I do. Yes, but what
Okay.
it like whether or not we say that this is the way that it ought to be doesn't discount the fact that that's not exactly how it is. Like if you're in a relationship with somebody where that's not how you ever end up having sex is like through these sorts of affirmative or reaffirmations like as you're going through, we wouldn't expect those to happen. But if you are each and every time giving each other verbal consent and both of you are saying, "Yes, I want to have sex with you," and then all of a sudden there's one time where you didn't do that and the person saying I didn't consent, yeah, that would be a really big deal all of a sudden that neither
Wait,
one of you
quick
said, yes, I want to
quick
consent to
question.
this, right?
Have you ever like had sex with somebody that wasn't very responsive?
Uh, I no, not really, no.
Okay.
But I've had sex where I wasn't very responsive and I wasn't really into it, but I was willing to do it just to
I
like
mean, you didn't
make them
have to do
happy.
that. Whether if you personally don't wanna, like, call something like that, like, because you didn't feel like you were affected, that's within your right, but you have to understand that other people can be affected in different ways off of the same action, right?
I haven't said anything otherwise. I don't know why you keep like talking down to
Well
me like I'm saying things that I'm not saying, and
well,
it's kind
the
of obnoxious. If you want to ask me questions, I'm happy to answer them, but it's like getting a little
I'm
ridiculous
asking
that the
because
fact that you seem to know nothing about consent, yet you're talking down to
I'm
me as though I'm the one who doesn't
hold on,
understand this
what about
situation.
consent don't I know?
You're one. First off, you came in here saying that I said that she wasn't sexually assaulted. So something about what I've said was horribly misread, or you just made it up. I don't know which one of those things it is. But if I'm talking about consent and somehow that's what you got from what I said, yeah, I would
No,
assume
oh,
that you actually
I
have
got that
no understanding
mostly
of consent.
from the comment where you said that's not enough information, that if, like, if you start having sex with somebody and they don't stop you, you said that that's not enough information. If you're just having sex with someone and the only thing giving, like, you the idea that they want it is that they're not stopping you, I would consider that fairly rapey.
Hold on. If I say that's not enough information, you think that's the same thing as me saying that that person wasn't sexually assaulted?
I think if you just have sex with someone and they are not responding whatsoever, and the only thing that's giving you the inclination that it's okay is that they're not saying no, I think that's a fairly rapey precedent to set.
This is new information. Did she say that she wasn't
No, no,
responsive
I'm
whatsoever?
going purely off of your comment. Well, with the comment on your video, somebody said if somebody tries to have sex with another person and that person doesn't do or say anything to stop, and they just lay there, do you think that's consensual? And you said that that's not enough information.
Yes, correct.
So you think that if you have sex with somebody and they just lay there, that it's consensual?
I no, I don't think it's consensual. I don't
Well,
have enough
okay.
information.
Well, that is enough. We're doing a hypothetical, so we don't have to do evidentiary things. We're not talking about an actual situation. I'm setting up
No,
a
I'm not talking about
hypothetical.
evidence. I'm saying I don't have enough information. I like the person has not provided information. So like do they do like consensual not consent where they have some sort of safe word and it wasn't used and this is
Like, hold
like
on.
a normal thing where
So
the person's
what?
play
Okay.
dead. They generally get into sex without like either one of them actually saying anything. Do they normally have foreplay?
There's usually some kind of enthusiasm, though, at least, right?
I there can be, yes, not necessarily, no, especially not in
D-
long-term
So
relationships after you've been together for a
you
while.
you said personally that you have had sex that you personally didn't really want to have, but just because your partner was horny or something like that. Do you think your partner likes that you were only having sex with them just to placate them?
At the time, yeah, sure, they were happy about that.
Do you think that's a good precedent to set? Like, it's not like it's not the 1800s anymore. Like the masturbation technology has gotten better. She could have just jerked off instead of bringing you into sex you didn't want to do.
It depends on whether or not I'm okay with it,
If there's no
right?
enthusiasm, then why do it?
because she wants to do it, and I'm not really in the mood, don't really feel like doing it, but I wanna make her happy, and I want her to
Why
feel, like,
well,
loved and
she could
all of those things, so
wait, why would she feel unloved by you asserting that you just don't feel like having sex right then?
well, lots of relationships actually, like divorces, lots of people name that they haven't had sex in a really long time as, like, reasons why people divorce, so it's a
I mean,
fairly
yeah, if
common
you
thing
yeah,
that people start to feel
look,
unloved or like their relationships
if
falling
you're just
apart because of those things.
yeah, but if you're not sexual, if you don't feel like having sex and stuff like that, that's like fine. And then if you guys aren't having enough sex to a point where you're like, we shouldn't even be partners together anymore, then you should just not be partners anymore, not force yourself to have sex.
Well, that depends. Like, if I'm willing to have sex because I want to stay partners with them, I'm just not in the mood to have sex, but that doesn't mean that I don't love them anymore. They're going to get that implication from the idea or from the fact that I'm not having sex with them. And I
I
don't
mean,
want them to get that
why don't you
implication
just
from that because I do
communicate?
still love them.
Why don't you just communicate, "Hey, I still love you even though I'm not being fairly sexy. I'm dealing with my own thing right now, but
That's a
here I
really simple way of doing it, but insecurities don't work that way. When somebody feels like you're not actually engaging with them and you
should
don't maybe find them
hold on,
sexy anymore, maybe you don't
you
love them
be
anymore.
hold on, should you be in a relationship with someone that you don't feel like you can communicate, you don't want to have sex with them?
I it hold on, these are different questions. Whether or not if I say to them, "I don't wanna have sex with you right now," and I might not for a while,
Mhm.
whether or not that's going to make them insecure, whether or not that's going to make them maybe not wanna be with me anymore because they think that I don't love them or I don't find them sexy anymore, it's a very different question than whether or not I'm capable of telling them this without them fucking raping me or some shit. It's a very different
You
question.
know, I mean, if your partner thinks you don't love them because you don't want to have sex right then and there, that's a red flag.
Well, it depends on how many times I've said it.
Okay, but like like I'm bringing this back over to the other thing. The
Well, no, hold on. You agree with that, right? It depends on how many times I've told her that I don't wanna have sex
No,
with her, right?
I think if you it doesn't if the first time, the millionth time, it doesn't matter. If you don't you shouldn't be having sex you don't wanna have.
Okay, I just disagree.
So that's a pro-rate position.
No, it's not.
You
I can
just hold on.
consent to having sex that I'm not in the mood for, that I don't feel like having, or that I'm a little bit too tired for, but I can still consent to it. I can still make that decision for myself. I don't think that other people should push somebody. So if you have a partner who's saying, "Hey, I don't want to have sex," you should never push that person to do it. You should never try to convince them into it. You should never do any of these things. But you yourself, if you don't want to have sex, yet you choose to consent anyways because you want to make sure that your partner's taken care of, you have the right to do that.
I personally would feel pretty horrified if I learned my partner was just putting out just to placate me. Do you think your partner wouldn't feel the same way?
She didn't, obviously.
Do you think that that's weird?
No.
You don't think it's weird that someone didn't care whether or not you wanted to have sex or not?
When you say want, okay, if I'm consenting, obviously I want to in some sense. Like in the sense that I'm too tired, no, I don't want to. In the sense that I kind of want to go to bed or there's something else I'd rather do, in those senses I don't want to. But in the sense that like I want her to feel happy, I don't want her to be insecure, I want her to feel taken care
Okay,
of. In those senses, I want to.
I'm just gonna be honest, you're coming off as like you're very like it's very like strange that like you are like basically saying that you should care whether or not the other person wants to have sex, right? Like you should care about that, right? Like
Again, you heard what I just said, right? I need you to engage with that
you
because
can
when you say
say
want, you are oversimplifying this to like a childlike level.
yes,
I know you read in your
want
handbook
okay,
like
want
no
requires a
means
little
no or some shit like
look,
that.
if it's
But
not enthusiastic, yes, then it's a no.
okay, I would say that's true early on in relationships on like your first
No,
couple of dates. But
it's
when you've
true
gotten to know somebody and you've been in a long-term relationship with them, that's not really the case over a long period of time.
that no, it stays true.
Okay.
I mean,
I disagree with you.
I can't like I would feel utterly horrified if I learned that my partner was so insecure about whether like my like feelings about them to the point that they're having sex they don't want to have just to keep me around. I would be horrified. And the fact that you don't think your ex is weird for those same behaviors
Hold
is a
on, you
red
keep
flag, my
saying this
guy.
want. You keep dumbing it down to
Okay,
want.
what word would you rather me
Want in
use?
what
What
sense?
word would you rather
Well,
me
no,
use
no, no.
than
You
want?
can use want, but want in what sense? I went over like 5
You
different
yes,
types of
you
want.
Juan,
Which
you
one?
okay. Were you horny at the time and wanting to have sex?
No.
Okay. And you agreed to sex you didn't want to have purely because you were scared of how the other partner would feel if you didn't.
Well, I didn't say I was scared of that. That I wanted to
Okay,
make
you
sure
were
that that
worried.
wasn't true.
You were worried
Yeah,
about
sure,
their
sure, sure. Yeah,
feelings.
even if you want to frame it that way, sure. I want
Okay.
to make sure that they feel
That
taken care of and that they feel loved. Yes.
do do you think it's wrong that that level of emotional coercion was placed on you?
No.
So you would accept a relationship where somebody was so insecure that you had sex you didn't want to have just to make sure they were okay.
I didn't say that they were so insecure, and I never said that they
I
placed that
no,
emotional manipulation on
I
me.
think
I'm saying,
somebody who wants to have sex on a technicality just to make sure their partner cares about them, I think that implies a serious level of insecurity.
why? Why with sex? Why is that so different?
It's because it's not the sex, it's the fact that you don't want to and they don't care.
Yeah, but sure. But if I told somebody like, "Hey, I want you to make dinner," you normally make dinner, and they're like, "Oh, I don't really feel like it, but okay, if you're hungry, I'll go make dinner." You're not going to make a big deal about that, too, are you?
No, because I think making dinner and sex are different.
Yeah. So I asked you why with sex.
I think I think being made to make dinner and being made to get penetrated or penetrate someone else are uh leagues differently. I think it's different because like if I make a girl make dinner, they're probably not going to be as traumatized as if I make them suck my dick.
Well, hold on. Wait, if we're talking about traumatized, and that's the worry. I wasn't traumatized, and I knew I wasn't going to be traumatized. If you're well aware that you're
Wait,
not going to be
why
traumatized,
why
then I
hold on,
think
did
that it's
you
okay for you to do this.
hold on,
But
hold on,
if
hold on.
that's where we're taking it, and you think you
Wait,
might be traumatized from telling somebody that you're going to have sex with them when you don't really
wait.
feel like it, then yes, don't do it.
What if
Do not
what
do something
hold
that's
on,
going
hold
to
on.
traumatize you.
What if I like what if like a guy is like in an alley or whatever and he like does the SVU style like rape, but the girl happens to be into consensual non-consent or whatever and finds it really hot. Is it no longer rape then?
I don't know what any of that meant. What is SVU style?
Like special victims unit. Like Law and Order special victims unit. I'm saying like
I don't.
the traditional like rape in the alleyway. Like I'm talking about like what even like a fucking dude in the 70s would consider rape, like literal like violent like that. But they happen to do it to somebody who's into that. Does that make it good now just because they happen to be fine with it?
No, I would say that that was probably bad. It
Okay.
might not have been raped, but it wasn't a good
In your
idea.
situation, just because you happen to be okay with being emotionally coerced into sex does not make it no longer doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, but I can explain why that other thing is
Okay.
bad. Like, you don't know that that's actually the case, and so
Okay.
you're, like, kind of forcing yourself
Here.
upon somebody. You're
I
not
just need
capable of
to
explaining
establish
why this other thing is bad.
I just need to establish that your potential before we can even talk about the Keffel stuff, we need to like figure out exactly what your like standard for what sexual assault is because if your standard for sexual assault is so shitty that it's like letting you get emotionally coerced into sex you didn't have, then why should you even be talking about sexual assault at all?
Well, that's kind of the point that I was gonna ask you, actually. So let's go back to what you just said. Don't pivot to something else, please. Let's
Okay,
stay on this. We
gotcha.
have the rape in the alley. I can say that this is a type of behavior that's actually dangerous, where like you don't know that that person actually wants to have sex with you.
Hmm.
You could possibly be raping them, and it's even likely in this case. Whereas
Hmm.
in this other case, you know that the person is consenting and you are having sex with them with that knowledge. So where is it that
Wait,
you're
do
like
you think it
conflating these two things?
do you think it's consent if somebody's having a sex they don't want to have just to shut you up?
Again, it depends on what kind of
Okay, well that
consent
no
we're
that
talking about.
because
Like,
you
when
don't
you say just to shut
no
you up,
that's
like, I
yeah that is rape, Tom. To if you
Yes,
are being made, if you are being
if
made.
you nagged somebody into having sex with you and you were just
No,
doing it
I would
just to
say it's
get them
rape
to stop
even if,
nagging.
like, say I become, like, such a huge sad sack that my partner is, I'm, like, trying to have sex with them, they don't want to, but they know that, like, I'll get really insecure and, like, be weird I if I don't. That is a coercive element, and that makes it rapey.
Okay, I explained why that part was rape and why
I
the other one wasn't. I would be great if you engaged on the same level that I am and explained things instead of just making a bunch of statements over and over and conflating different things that are not alike.
Okay, what did I
That would be
conflate?
awesome. You keep skipping from one thing to another. Hey, I think that if this person is nagging somebody into this and making them feel
Okay,
bad until they have sex with them, then this is rape.
well,
Cool
you said
story, bro.
hold on,
Let's go back to
no,
the
no,
hypothetical
you
and you engage what it
you
is
said
that we
hold
were
on,
talking about
you
for a second,
said
please.
that in your about your own situation, you don't consider it rape because you had sex you didn't wanna have, right?
I again, in what sense? I did want to have sex with them in the sense that I wanted to make sure that they
But
felt loved and that they felt taken care of and that they weren't insecure. They never said, "Hey, have sex with me or I'm gonna feel insecure." That part didn't
okay,
happen. That never happened.
so how do you think they would feel if they knew you were only having sex with them to placate them and not because you wanted to have it too?
Again, at the time, if they're saying, "Hey, but I wanna have
No,
sex,"
hold
and
no,
eventually I'm just like, "Oh,
please answer
okay."
that question. How do you think your ex would feel if they knew you were only having sex with them just to make them feel better and you didn't actually wanna have it? Do you think that she would be okay with that, or would she not be okay with that?
I've answered this a couple of times. I think that they do know this when it's happened. I you can keep
Okay,
asking the same
that's
question. I do feel
bad.
like they
If
know this.
they knew you
Okay,
didn't wanna have the
that's a
sex
cool
and they
story,
kept having
bro.
the sex,
Answer the
that's
fucking
rape.
question.
That's
Stop
rape.
skipping to this.
That's
You
rape,
can keep
Tom.
skipping to other things that are rape. Answer the fucking question.
See, Tom,
What the fuck?
I
This isn't that hard. Answer the fucking
I am
question,
answer oh,
dude.
wait, what is
Seriously.
ask the
No,
question
you're
again.
not.
Ask the
You're
question
telling
again.
me something else is rape. Tell
Ask the
me
question
why
again.
this
Ask the
fucking
question again.
example is rape.
Ask the question again.
Okay. We have the SVU situation where the person is in the alley and they're forcing this person to have sex with them.
Yeah.
In the other scenario, we
Mhm.
have somebody who wants to have sex with them just to make them feel better and
Uh-huh.
just wants to make sure that they feel taken care of. How is this rape?
Oh, because you're having sex you don't wanna have.
Okay. So, in any sense, if there's any sense that you don't like, you happen to be in a room that has purple walls and you would rather be in a room with white walls to have sex, is this no longer consensual sex?
Yep, if you don't wanna have it, then, and you do it anyway, that is pretty rapey. There are
Okay.
sliding
I
scales of rape. It
I
doesn't
appreciate
all
it.
have
I
to be
will take that.
terrible. If you
Fair
don't wanna
enough.
have the sex, then you don't have it. If you do, then you do. It's really that simple, and,
Fair enough.
you're, like, trying to create, like, weird, like, rules and stuff like that. It's very sussy.
Fair enough. If that's just the one little thing that you don't like about the way that you're having sex, this makes it unconsensual. I understand where you're coming from now. We can move forward now.
Okay. I also find it very ironic that you get, like, very mad and yelly about just, like, very basic questions, but then, like, you're surprised that other people
No,
get very mad when
mad
you're
and yelly that
questioning
you
their
refuse to
essay
answer questions.
allegations. Like, you
Mad and yelly that you refuse to answer questions. I had to ask that same
yeah.
question like 3 or 4 times for you to keep going to something else and saying, "I think that's bad." Cool story, bro. That's not what I asked.
Okay. So, alright, now that we've established a baseline where, we've established that having sex you don't wanna have is bad. We've established that, right?
You believe that any sense of something being off in a
I
room when
yeah,
you have sex is now unconsensual. I do not believe this.
if somebody is doesn't want to, have sex and you are continuing to get them to do it for reasons other than you also wanna have sex, it is rapey, my guy.
Want to have sex in what sense? That the
You are
walls were
horny and you
purple?
want to stick your beppis in their vagina. Like that what? Why are you, like, trying to create technicalities? I feel like you're trying to rules lawyer sex, and it's
These aren't
fucking weird.
technicalities. This is what I'm talking about, is you guys talk about this on, like, a childlike level. These aren't technicalities. People want to have sex in some senses and not in others, yet that doesn't, like, immediately erase whether or not it was consent. The
I
person decides whether or not they are consenting. They decide whether or not this is the thing that they are choosing to do.
if they are just laying there doing nothing. Do you believe that lack of a no is a yes?
In what sense? What does that mean?
Just
Like, if they just don't say
in
no?
sex. If they are just not saying no, but you haven't gotten an affirmation, do you think do you think that that's rape?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, then you just disagree with like literally every sexual assault organization in the world.
I don't.
Yes, you hold on. We can pull up Planned Parenthood. We can pull up Rain and stuff like that. So, we can pull all of these things up right now. Hold on. Consent from Planned Parenthood: freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific. Okay, if it's not those things, it's not consensual.
I so what
That's
you're
from
reading
that.
doesn't change anything that you just said a second
Do you
ago.
wait? Hold on.
You
Do
asked
you
if
think
lack.
Planned Parenthood is wrong about rape? Like the
No,
standards they've set.
okay, hold on. Did they say that if you don't have any one of those aspects, it's rape? Did they say that in
They
there?
say it's not
I I
consent. What do you call non-consensual sex?
I would say that those are suggestions for how to get consent.
Wait, what about freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific are like hint? That's
I
just
agree with those things.
those
Those
are
are good
criteria that
suggestions.
make something consensual. It's not like a way to get the consent.
Yes, so all of those things
Mm-hmm.
actually line up with what it was that I said about having sex with my partner, and
Mm-hmm.
except for like whether or not I was enthusiastic about it. But are you going to demand that I now call myself a rape victim?
I mean, you can call yourself what
You
you
think I
want,
was raped?
but you said
No,
that
no, no. I'm
you
asking you
said
though, because
you said
you're saying that that is what is rape. So if I say that I wasn't
I think you
enthusiastic,
were
are you
emotionally
saying that I was raped?
yeah, you were emotionally coerced into sex.
Okay. So you're willing to, like, tell apparently a rape victim about their own rape now,
Sure.
right? That's great. Okay. Yeah, I disagree. I think that these are suggestions on how to get consent. This is, like, what it is that you look for when you're going to have sex with somebody. These are, like, really good ways to operate when you're trying to have sex with someone.
Yeah. So like it just I I want to go back to like the consent thing that I talked about. Do you disagree with any of those criteria in consent? Freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific.
I think those are really good suggestions on what you
Okay.
should look for when having sex with somebody.
So you but you just said you were not enthusiastic about the other one, right?
Correct. Correct.
So if you were not enthusiastically wanting to have sex with someone and you were doing it just to make them happy, even though you did not want to have sex, you can see why somebody would be like, you're being put into situations where you don't want to do that.
100% yes.
Okay, so let's like, so let's take what do you think? Okay, let's apply our standard for what consent is, my standard for what consent is versus your standard for what consent is. Which standard do you think creates less harm?
Yours. And I would go with that standard as far as prescriptions go, 100%.
Okay, so we can try and like debate bro this and stuff like that. I just like I feel like you are in a situation where you cared so much about someone to the point that you were willing to have sex you don't have. Do you like not consider that kind of like bad at least? Like I'm not saying you have to call yourself a victim. I'm not saying you have to do anything like that. But can you at least admit that you having sex you didn't want to have just to placate someone else's emotions is at least bad, right?
It's so when we're talking about like the way things actually are versus the way that we think they should be, like I think that's the way people should operate when having sex with somebody. But generally, that's not how consent is actually gotten, and that's not how consent works in reality. So just because I say this is how you should go about getting consent from somebody doesn't mean that if you are missing any one of these aspects in reality, that now you did not have consent and now you did rape somebody. These are different things. And so I like if we're talking about like in a pragmatic sense, I think that it is like this is how relationships work. Once you get used to somebody, you're not looking for enthusiasm each and every single time that you
I
ever have sex.
you should
But
be,
if you are
you're
like
you should
early
have.
on in a relationship and definitely in general, this is what I would prescribe to people is, hey, you should look for enthusiasm. You should want this when you're
Okay,
looking to have sex with somebody.
okay, but you acknowledge that Planned Parenthood disagrees with you about that, right?
I'm not so sure. Again, when you're saying that this is like how you get consent or whatever, I agree that this is like a good prescription on getting consent.
It's the
But
fries acronym and stuff like that.
yes, but I don't. But I doubt that they're going to say that if you're missing any one of those aspects, that it's automatically rape. I highly
They
doubt
will
that they
say
would
it's
say
not
that.
consensual. Yes, they will say if you are having it's freely given, reversible, informed, and specific, but not enthusiastic. Basically, you're defending criteria that could be used like because like what you're saying is used to defend marital rape. Is that women should be ready or men should be ready to give their body to their partner whenever they want and stuff like that, whether or not they don't want it and stuff.
I'm not saying that.
Those were the actual arguments used against, because marital rape wasn't illegal until like the 70s or something like that. And they literally the argument used by the pro marital rape people was that you should give your body to your partner even when you aren't enthusiastic.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
that's bad.
okay, so like you have to like recognize that if having unenthusiastic sex just to placate someone is, I mean, if you don't want to call yourself a victim and stuff like that, that's completely right. But you have to acknowledge that that's not consent.
No, I do not acknowledge that. So just because like the religious people said that you ought to do this for your husband in saying that you should do this regardless of whether or not you want to do it or regardless of whether or not you are enthusiastic, I don't agree with that. That's ridiculous. But that doesn't mean that each and every time enthusiasm is gone, that this is the same as that. It's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
yes. Having unenthusiastic sex just to placate the other person is not consensual, man. I'm sorry, I'm not just saying this. This isn't my thing. It's Planned Parenthood is saying this, Rain is saying this, and stuff like that. And if you care about negating harm rather than trying to be able to get a nut on a technicality, you would agree with me.
I again, I don't even know that Planned Parenthood actually says this. I would like
Here,
to read this because
I can
they're
send it
saying
to
this
you
is
if
what
you'd like.
consent is. Yes, but I'm reading it. The
Just
freely given, reversible,
Google.
informed, enthusiastic, specific. But at no point in here is it saying that if you don't have each and every one of these aspects, that it's rape now. These are the things
Hold
that
on.
you ought to look for.
So
These are
wait,
the
hold on.
things that you ought to get when
can
you're
you
getting consent. But these are not automatic. Like you miss one of these, and
hold on?
now it's not consensual.
Okay, can you give me an example of consent that is not freely given?
No.
Can you give me an example of reversible that is not freely given? Can you give me an
No.
example of consent that is not reversible?
No.
Okay,
Again,
can you
when
give
we
me an
went over
example?
this,
No, no, no.
and
We're gonna go through the entire
no, no,
acronym.
no,
We're
hold
gonna
on.
go through the
I
entire
already
acronym.
told you that I agreed with all of these except for the enthusiastic
Okay.
part. I already said this.
Okay. So why would they choose? Why would they put one in there, the enthusiastic one? Like all of these things are like without it, it's not. Why? What makes enthusiasm not as important as freely given, reversible, informed, and specific?
Well, because I can like be tired and want to have sex with somebody and want to be horny and want to have do all of these things
No, that's
without the
no. The
enthusiasm.
wanting makes it enthusiastic, even if your energy levels aren't there. I've been on a 10 hour Molly bang before. I get what it's like to be tired. I'd had to sit in the cuck chair for a minute while the other people fucked. I get it. But the want is the important part, not just being tired. If you're tired but want, then that's
Well, no. Hold
enthusiasm.
on, hold
Even
on.
if you
But
can't.
enthusiasm is like the intense, like
No,
desire to do something.
I think there's a
I just looked
sliding
it up.
scale on
Google
enthusiasm.
intense and eager enjoyment in
Look,
interest or approval.
I don't want anyone to treat sucking my dick like they're clocking into work. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's the level of like as long as they want to. If they're tired or something like that or whatever, but still want to, that's still enthusiasm, even if they aren't able to, like, they're not doing jumping jacks and like acting like they're about to go to Six Flags. That's like a child's idea of enthusiasm.
Okay, so if you disagree with these on what enthusiasm is, then you and I agree. As long as you want to do it, then that's fine. In some sense, you want to do it, then we agree. That's what
I
I said
think why,
earlier, and you
well,
disagreed with
but
that.
why you want to do it is important. Do you want to do it because you're horny, or do you want to do it because you don't want to deal with the aftermath of not doing it, because then that's not freely given.
I I just disagree with this. Yeah,
I mean,
wholeheartedly.
I mean,
That's
you just
ridiculous.
then you just you disagree with what all the sexual assault organizations, Planned Parenthood, and RAIN say about consent. Then
No, I don't. I promise you, if you go read those things again, as you said earlier, you
here
said that I
we can
disagreed with
go
them,
over
but
here.
obviously
I'm
now that
going.
we've gotten into it, I don't disagree with them. And so now, also, if you go find something where it
Hold
says
on.
like,
I'm going to
hey, if you just
rain.com.
like, if you want to make sure that somebody feels loved and you have sex with them anyways, that's no longer consent. They're not going to say
Here,
that.
hold on. I'm on rain.org right now. Okay. Da, 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 da. How does intimate partner sexual violence relate to other kinds of abuse? Sexual violence in a relationship is rarely an isolated incident. It often occurs alongside other forms of abusive behavior, including physical and emotional abuse. For instance, the majority of women who are physically assaulted by an intimate partner have been sexually assaulted by that same partner. Intimate partner sexual violence often starts with controlling behavior that can escalate to further emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Warning signs of abuse include a partner who attempts to cut you off from friends and family, is extremely jealous or upset if you spend time with them, insults you, puts you down, if says you can't do anything right, tries to prevent you from attending work and school, destroys your property, threatens to harm your children, tells you they're worthless and stuff like that. The point,
I agree with all of that.
okay, so they, someone that doesn't care whether or not you are enthusiastic about the sex you do and stuff like that, that is a form of abuse, even if you don't want to consider it bad enough to like want any action or whatever. Like things can be abusive, but like not have to be, like taken to the police or whatever and stuff like that. There's degrees to these things.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay, what the fuck? I feel like you just walked everything back. Yes,
I
I
didn't
agree.
no, I
That's
didn't
my
walk
point.
anything. I
Oh,
the degree of enthusiasm matters. Okay?
yes,
If you
I
didn't
agree.
okay,
But
so if
no, no,
you're
no. Wait.
wait,
But that's why I was saying that like it matters on like different aspects of what it is that you want in this case. Like
okay,
what is it that you're
wait,
like?
hold on.
What is it that you're
So
consenting to? What is it that you
if
want overall?
if you
If in
don't
the end you do want to have sex with the person,
wait,
that is the thing that
hold on.
matters.
What if somebody wants to have sex with someone just because they don't want to get the shit kicked out of them?
Then I would say that's coercive.
Okay. What
But I
if
do think that, like, sex is a really important part of a relationship, and whether or not somebody
I
feels
mean,
loved is a
for
really
some
important part of a
relationships, yes,
relationship,
for
and if
others
somebody
it's
says,
not.
hold on,
Yeah.
and if somebody says to their partner, "Hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stay in this relationship if we don't have sex. You're not having sex with me very often." And the other person says, "Okay, I will try to be in the mood more often for you." I would not say that that's coercive in any way. I don't think that they're, like,
I
coercing them into having sex in any way.
I wouldn't want someone to have to like play the Space Jam theme to get like jazzed up and hyped enough to fuck me. I think I would just end the relation like, hey, we have different levels of like sexual needs, and that's okay. You're not a bad person for or anything like that. But I just don't think this is going to work. And the other person is like, no, I will have. I don't want somebody to make themselves have sex with me in order to keep me around. That's like bad. Like that I would feel really bad about somebody trying to have sex they don't want to have in order to keep me around.
Okay? It doesn't make it rape. It's different.
The if you're
It doesn't mean it's
having
non-consensual.
if
You
you
don't want that. Cool story.
if you are not if you are having sex that you don't want to have and stuff like that, there is a coercive element to it. And it's also on you. You have to be like, oh, is this person just fucking me just so that I stay around or something like that? And you know that and you keep doing it. That's bad, right? We could agree that that's bad, right?
Ellen, did you know that no means no?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Do you know
I don't
that
know. You
lack of a
keep
do you
sounding
know
like
that
you're
lack
like
of a yes
reading me
also
stuff out of
means
a
no?
handbook,
Do you know that
but
lack of yes
this
also
isn't
means no?
lack of what?
Do you know that lack of yeses also means no?
Yeah, yeah, it depends on what it is that we're
No, there's no
considering a yes in
depends.
this
There's
case.
no depends. Lack of
Well
a yes means no.
well, yes, it does, because the yes in this case is going to go back to those lists that you were giving me before. So it could be eye contact, it could be body language, it could be the ways that you get into sex normally, in the like routines that you've established. It could be a ton of different things. It doesn't have to be a verbal communication of the
No,
word
well, no,
yes.
you
The,
just
you
you
don't have
just
to
hold
have
on.
the
You
verbal communication
you
of the word
already
yes,
have
but
just
you're still but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a no if you didn't get that verbal yes.
yeah, no, yeah, it honestly in today's era, if you're a guy not trying to get a verbal yes, you're a fucking like dumbass setting yourself up. You should definitely
You've been with somebody for 20 years, you need to get a verbal yes from this person?
I if you're with somebody for 20 years and they're starfishing and then you don't go, "Hey, are you wanting to do this?" and you don't hear anything and you keep going, yeah, that's kind of rapey, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so if you start having sex, you've already admitted that you had sex you didn't want to have, that you weren't enthusiastic for it.
In a
You,
specific sense, yes.
yes, so that, and then you said your partner wouldn't care to learn that you were just having sex just to placate them.
Mhm.
That's bad. Like you should care. You should care about that, right? You should care whether or not somebody you
Oh
should
my goodness.
you
You're doing
right?
this
No.
again.
I need an answer to that. You should care whether or not someone is having sex with you just to placate you. Yes or no?
I think it'd be good if people cared, but again, that doesn't mean that this is rape. That
Oh
doesn't
my
mean that it's
god.
non-consensual. You can keep going backwards in this conversation. I
Look,
thought we moved past this. We agreed
no,
on all of these things, and you
uh,
keep going backwards to the I think this is bad.
I came
Okay,
to this
cool.
debate to
Doesn't make
save
it rape.
you. You know
Doesn't
that,
mean that
right?
it's
I
non-consensual.
came to this debate to give you
I
like
don't think you
just
understand this topic enough to
I
have
do
this with
understand
me in the
this
first
topic
place.
pretty
I'm being
well.
nice and and I'm
I
trying.
spent
It
the
doesn't
last
sound like it.
24 I spent the last 24 fucking
You
hours.
backed off numerous
What
claims at this
no,
point.
no,
I
what point
just
did I back
pointed them
off?
out.
What point did I back off, sir?
I just explained it.
Okay,
You
explain it
already
again.
said that, like, okay, so earlier you were saying that just like having a wall's a different color than the ones that you want to have sex in means that now it's
I
rape. Now you're saying that now you're giving me a list
I
of
don't
things that
care how
this website
stupid
says that you're
somebody's
looking
hold
for
on,
has nothing to do with
no,
the
no, no,
fucking
no. Your
walls.
argument
Oh my
there
goodness.
is that if somebody's reason for not wanting to have sex is stupid in your mind, then you can still have sex.
That is not what I said. That is not what I said. I said that what if like they want to have sex, they're horny, they're attracted to this person, they're super into them, they're like really wanting to get into it with them, but they don't have like the color of the walls are different and they wanted
Okay,
to have
then yeah,
white walls and they had purple walls and you said yes if they have this one aspect that they didn't want.
yeah,
Now this is
I
not
don't care how
consensual sex.
stupid the reason is somebody doesn't want to have sex with me is. If they don't want to have sex with me, I no longer want to have sex with them.
Okay, that's a cool story. That doesn't make it
No,
rape.
that if you don't care whether somebody wants to have sex with you or not, that is rapey.
That you can keep dumbing this down. This is why I'm saying that you don't have the ability to have this conversation. Just a little while ago, you admitted that there's like a spectrum here for all of these things. And so I'm giving you like one small thing taken out that they wouldn't like about this, but they still are happy with all of the other things that we would actually care about. We don't care so much about like whether or not they want the walls to be a certain color when they have sex, but we do care that like they
Hold on,
want to have sex with this
hold
person,
on.
that they're
Here, I'm
attracted
gonna
to this person,
Tom,
that they are saying that they're consenting to having sex with this
Tom,
person. Like all of these things are the things that
Tom,
matter.
sir, Tom. Okay,
Mhm,
we are. We're gonna do some role play here. Okay,
mhm,
we're in a room. We're hot and heavy. We're gonna get ready, and I say I don't want to have sex in here. I think I don't like the ring light or whatever. Do you
mhm.
still get to have sex with that person just because you
No,
think
they just said that they don't want to have sex in here.
thank you. So
Okay, now
it doesn't matter how
what if
stupid
I
the
say,
reason is.
oh man, I wanted to have sex with white walls, but I still want to have sex with you, which is what we just discussed. That's not what you said. It's not
Okay.
what we discussed. This is what we discussed. Is this rape?
That's consent in in spite of the reason. people can revoke it for dumb reasons. The fact that
Yes, I
the fact that
agree.
you're focusing on the stupidity of the reason rather than the fact that the reason exists at all is why people have been calling you rapey for the last 24
No,
hours.
no, it has nothing to do with the stupidity of the reason. It has to do with that we're taking one thing out that they might care about, but the parts where they say, "I want to have sex with you. I am turned on.
Oh
I
my
want to do this right now. I am consenting to sex." Like all of those
man, you
things
cannot make
are
these
in the end
arguments with
the
that
thing that
mustache, my
matters.
guy. Jesus Christ. Like, come on. Like, do you not like see like do you not have the
I
self-awareness to
I
understand how
could
you come
literally
off?
I could literally sit here saying I'm a pedophile and still come out looking better in this
No,
debate.
you couldn't.
There is no
You could
shot
no, you
that
could not at all.
the purple wall guy is gonna get me on this.
I
Sorry.
no, I don't. I look. Honestly, here you want to know my answer to that. If I'm in a situation where a girl's being like really, if they're like, I don't like the colors of the wall, so I'm not going to have sex, then I would immediately not want to have sex with them, and I would probably kick them out of my apartment because I think they're weird.
Whether or not you keep doing this, where you keep saying that's bad, or I wouldn't want to have sex with them, that's great. That's not what we're discussing. We're just discussing whether or not it's rape. You do this over and over and over. Well, I wouldn't want to do that. Cool story, bro.
No, well,
Not what
the
we're
reason I
talking
don't
about.
want to do it is because it's rapey.
Okay, rapey is not rape. We're talking about what is rape.
Somebody
Okay,
clip that.
that is not rape. In what it is that we just discussed,
So hold
that
on.
you could
What?
say,
Hold on. What
oh
degree?
well,
Hold on. What degree of rapiness are you okay with?
I well, I'm not okay with any degree of raping,
Okay.
but that doesn't
I
mean
just
that
wanted
it's
to make sure. I
necessarily
just want to make
rape.
sure.
Well, you keep doing this. What are we okay with? What do we think is good
Well,
versus
because
what is
my
rape?
hold on,
Right?
my
These are
act my
different
hold on.
conversations, and you're continuously moving the
No,
topic to
because
something else
my
when
my
we're
my
talking about whether or not it's consent.
hold on, my axiom is harm reduction right now. Okay, so I'm
Mhm.
trying to create a system, and I'm going to experts to see what the experts are saying creates the least amount of harm or whatever, and you're going
Yes.
off of like
And
your
I agree.
personal
No, 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 no.
experience.
Hold on. No, don't do that again. No, I agree with the experts on their prescriptions on what it is that we should look for and what it is that we should want when we're looking for consent. I
You just
did
said
not
you
agree
disagreed with
disagree with any of those
enthusiasm.
things.
You said you disagreed with enthusiasm earlier,
No, I
so you
did
don't.
not. I disagreed on whether or not that makes it rape. These are different conversations. This is what I'm talking about. You are not even in the same conversation as me. We are talking about whether or not this is what you ought to look for. When we're talking about a prescription on what you should do when you are getting ready to have sex with somebody, so that you are looking for consent, versus whether or not this is rape. Looking for consent and
Hold on. Is it so?
raping somebody.
Is there a way to have sex that isn't consensual? That isn't rape?
No.
Okay.
But let's say we have a guy who actually didn't care whether or not the person consented and was just going and just like wanted to have sex and wasn't looking for any of those things. We prescribe that he looks for those things, but that doesn't mean that just because he didn't look for them, that now he raped somebody. These are different things.
All right, man. Look, I think you should be a little
You
more
agree with that,
careful.
yes?
Oh
You
no,
agree
I
with
don't
this,
agree.
right?
I don't
These are
agree with
different
that.
things.
I don't. I think if
Okay.
somebody is not enthusiastic and you keep on trying to have sex with them, that's fucking weird.
That's a cool story, bro. Not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether or not it's rape.
It
So
is.
when we talk about like the SVU style person who goes into the alley and it turns out that the person that they had sex with wanted to have sex with them, that wasn't rape, even though that's something they shouldn't have done. That's not
No,
a
I
good
would. No,
prescription
they
for us to
hadn't.
tell
They
people to do
no,
that, but that
no.
doesn't mean
Actually,
that
no.
it is
Wait,
rape.
hold on. You just said that guy that isn't rape, but that guy wasn't informed. That's part of the fries acronym. So if
I
he wasn't
agree with
informed,
this.
then it's
I
rape.
agree with this. Yes, that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. Is that he is not looking for consent. He is not getting informed consent. But the other person still consents anyways. That's not up to him on whether
Wait,
or
hold
not they
on. So
consent.
would you be against that guy going to jail because he like got lucky with his rape victim?
Wait, what?
So like say that the guy like he raped someone and they happen to be really into it. Should
Hold on,
society
hold on. Don't call it rape. The person consented to it.
no, well, he has no idea that they consented to it.
Correct.
So then it's still rape then.
Well, no, it's not. It's based on whether or not the person
Hold on.
consented to it, not
What
based
if,
on whether or not you
so
think they
wait, hold on.
consented
So
to it.
wait,
It's based on
Tom.
whether or not they did consent to it.
So
Do
like
you agree with that?
no,
No, no, no.
I
I need
don't
you to
agree
agree
with
with
that.
that.
I don't agree with that because
Okay.
that's what every frat bro says
Okay.
before they drag some like fucking sorority girl to their
I
room
don't
that's
care.
passed out.
I don't give a fuck what frat bros say. That has nothing to do with this. You are
No,
just wrong. You
hold on.
disagree with
So
all
hold on.
the
No, no,
experts
no.
on this. Consent is
In
based on
no, no, no,
whether or
no, no,
not
no.
the person actually consents, not based on whether or not you think they consented.
Okay, Mr. Pringles mustache guy. if I was to have sex with somebody who was passed out or whatever, and then they woke up and that happened to be their fetish, should
Mhm.
should is that rape or not? Just because they happen to get lucky with their victim.
No, it is not rape, but
Okay,
they
then
shouldn't do that.
you just don't know what rape is. Then you like this is the problem.
Well, no, you disagree on what rape is. All of the experts agree that
All the
rape is
experts agree
non-consensual
that
sex.
if a man basically in gets if a rapist gets lucky and rapes somebody that happens to be happen to be into it and they don't learn till after the fact, that is still rape, even if their victim says no. Says no, it wasn't. There are and that's boilerplate because there are tons of times where like rape victims will say no, they didn't get raped because they don't want the harm to happen to their abuser and stuff like that. Just the act of doing it and then the person happens to be okay with it after the fact, that is still rape because you didn't
Yeah.
were not
So
informed. You were
again,
not informed.
any
It's not wait
any
no.
website that we look at, again, that's not what
No,
makes it
you
rape.
just no
What
you
makes it
def,
rape is
you
whether or not the person did consent, not whether or not you knew they consented.
no
That
no
you
like
whether
you
or not you think they consented does not mean a fucking thing. It matters whether or not they did consent. That's it.
No, well, the problem is that with the situation you're setting up a world where you're just basically like, oh, if I as long as I do my like rape stuff to the right people or whatever, then it's fine or whatever. Like you basically your argument is that like if I like fuck somebody that's passed out and then they wake up and they consider it not a big deal, I would still consider that rapey because they did not know whether or not the person would consider it a big deal or not.
Rapey, yes. It's not rape though, but it is rapey. I agree. And people should not do that. That would be bad
Sir,
if
wait,
somebody did
wait.
that, but it doesn't mean it's rape.
How do you get here, man? How'd you what led to this? What happened into your life to lead you to this moment?
I read the definition of rape and studied it for a while.
Oh, you
It's
stu
a
you
it's an important topic to me.
while you were partying, I was studying the rape. Um,
Mhm.
Now you have the barbarians at the door, and you dare to
Well, this
ask
is
me
why
for
I
help.
debate pedophiles and like I cover people talking about rape and sexual assault and these sorts of things is because it's a thing that like a lot of people don't understand the nuance on and they'll run around saying like it only matters to the person who's checking for consent. It doesn't matter whether or not you actually did consent. Whereas like obviously the definition of rape is based on like
I
the
just
actual person
I don't know. Do you play? Hold
consenting
on, quick question. Do you
themselves.
play Magic the Gathering?
No.
Okay. There's a concept in it called rules lawyering. I figure you can use context clues to figure out what that means.
Okay.
Do you understand what that means? Rules lawyering?
I'm assuming that you're arguing over the rules.
Yes. So like you're like getting thing you're like trying to get things based on like, well, the way that this is set up or something, and it's not really caring about whether or not it's fair or reducing harm. Do you think that between us, between me and you, which standard creates less harm?
Eh, I'm going to answer this, but I just want to point out again that this is why I don't think you're capable of having this conversation is because you're getting into prescriptions again instead of the descriptive, which is what we're talking about, is whether or not something is rape, not whether or not it
Well,
should
I'm
be rape.
because
But I don't think somebody should do that. I know again, like when we're talking
well,
about should, there's a different thing, but okay, like
this
we
is
can
the
go
reason I
backwards
wanted to
again.
determine like what your values are and stuff like that because evidentiary like claims and stuff like that, that's like debatable, and we have no way to like truly like verify or stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out your values, and that's why I'm trying to keep it here there. I'm trying to say the point of getting your values is that I think your system of like whether or not this is like good, this is bad, or like rules lawyering it creates more sexual assault than what my standard would.
Okay, and I also turn out to be right.
Well, how are you right?
Because I'm going based on the definition of rape and what the experts say
You
on what rape is and whether or
what is
not it's
your
consensual
hold on,
instead of saying
what
what it
definition of rape are you working on? Did you
the
just
non-consensual sex.
let's see. I am at the I'm should we use Merriam-Webster?
Yeah, sure. I was on Wikipedia, but we
Okay,
can
well,
do Merriam-Webster.
Merriam-Webster is wrong because they say unlawful sexual activity and usually sexual intercourse carried forcibly under threat of injury. They disagree
Based
with
on a
Rain.
lawful definition, there should be another one.
Yeah, okay, let's go to the Rain definition.
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Some forms of sexual assault include attempted rape, fondling or unwanted sexual touching, forcing a victim to perform sexual acts such as oral sex or penetration of the victim's body, and stuff like that. These are
That's not a
the fact that
definition.
they're unwanted is what makes it sexual assault.
Oh my goodness, that's what I said. What the fuck?
Okay,
That's
but
fucking
you already
crazy.
said earlier that no,
Whoa,
you
that
said
disagrees with
hold on,
you. That's
you already
insane.
said earlier that you had sex with you didn't want.
In what sense?
Okay, well, no, there's no other sense. It's already there.
Mm, that's wild.
So what? Where do we go from here, Tom?
You just debunked yourself, so I
I
have
didn't
no
debunk
fucking clue.
myself.
I have no fucking clue. You just read it that it's unconsensual sex. That's what I said, but you said I was wrong. Now you just read it. It says it's unconsensual sex. What the fuck? I don't know where we go from here.
No, the problem here is that like you are okay. Like, yeah, are you a football fan at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Say like a team like you see a bullshit call, or do you consider like say a team wins due like to like a bullshit like ref call or something like that, right? Like, do you consider that like to cheapen the victory, or do you like consider that to like, or is it still a legit victory? Like, do you disagree with people that would feel like it was like cheap or whatever?
Yeah, I think it cheapens the victory. Yeah.
Okay, why are you okay with cheapened sex?
Well, you're like presupposing that it's cheapened, but I
I do think if you're having sex just to make sure someone else's emotional well being is okay, I do think that cheapens it. I do you would you be like weirded out if like a girl was like, "Oh yeah, I've only been having sex with you this week because like I was afraid you're gonna leave me, or I didn't really want to do it, but I was afraid you're gonna leave me. I thought you'd get mad or something if I said no." Like, how would you feel in that situation?
I yes, if they're saying that they were just having sex with me because they were afraid that I was going to leave them. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be happy because generally I probably wouldn't leave somebody just over sex, but I wouldn't be like upset about the sex in and of itself, just more so that yeah.
So the point, so you we would like, would you keep having sex with that person after hearing that?
I if I felt like they were consenting to it, yes.
But they already said that they're already having sex with you just because they're afraid you're gonna leave them.
Yeah, if they don't want to have sex with me for any other reason and they just think that I'm going to leave them,
Okay, but like,
then
how do you figure that
no, I
out
wouldn't
then?
want to.
How do you figure that out in that situation? Because they've already said they're willing to like, just be placated, placate you and stuff like that. Then you have to question in your own head, like, fuck, every time I'm fucking this person, I have no idea if they even want to fuck me or not. So, like, why would you even stay with that person?
Well, they do want to fuck me. They just want to fuck me so that I stay with them.
But they don't want they aren't trying to have sex with you because they want to have sex. They're doing it because they're scared of you leaving them.
Hmm. That's why they want to have sex with me.
So stop. So it would be on you at that point to stop having sex with that person.
If I felt like that was the only reason that they were ever going to have sex with me, I probably wouldn't want to do it. Maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
just maybe.
Yep.
All right. I mean, look, dude. It's really hard to argue this with somebody who just I think is just fundamentally misunderstand. I think you should probably stay away from covering sexual assault because I don't think you understand it well enough. I can bring on somebody from Rain if you want to talk to them to that's like an actual expert in the field if you'd like.
That would be fucking great. Yes. If you're there too, yes. Actually, I want them to go over this conversation with us.
Okay, I'll see what I can do, but I don't think it would look good for you. I
I'm terrified. It would be horrible. Let's
okay.
do it.
All right, whatever, man. We had this conversation as good as we could have. All right.
Well, all right.
Okay. Here, let me just you have a good stream, buddy. All right.
All right. Later, man.
Later. Okay, guys. That was weird. Um, Hi, how you doing? Sorry that my video didn't work. It's because I'm stupid. Um, uh, I, wow. I didn't expect him to bite as many bullets as he did. Seems kind of weird, but whatever. Hold on, Tippy wants to call in. Hello, Tippy.
Yo, hold on. For some reason, my audio's fucked. Let me fix it.
Okay.
Hold on. How do I do this?
Wait, is there echo? What's going on? Max, is there echo?
Okay. Hello.
Liv, is it okay? What's got? I don't know. Don't leave chat.
Okay.
That's what I've learned.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, dude. I have no clue. Like I'm just sitting here, just trying to like, hey, maybe. I think that fundamentally, the audio is really bad right now. Oh, hold on. I think it's because I don't. Yeah, I don't have expander gate.
It was because I think when I heard it earlier. Let me take a listen real quick.
Okay.
Oh, it's your webcam audio. You have to disable your webcam audio.
Okay. How do I do that?
Ask Liv.
God damn it. I'm working.
Oh
God, now he's got Ico on there.
Fuck.
Spent brain cells with an S.
Gosh.
Where? God damn it. Hold on. I'm just gonna go to Discord calls because I know that one is fine. All right.
Okay.
Can't really see me.
Okay.
Oh. We'll fix it in post. All right.
Okay.
Okay. How's the sound now? Is it all? Is it going good?
Let him know, chat, because I'm not listening. Do you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Yeah, I hope there's not too much feedback because I got the missus with me right now, so I'm using my speakers.
Okay, for some reason, I'm just gonna cancel. All right, can I? Oh yeah, it's just a black screen right now. Fuck it.
Okay, that works.
Whatever.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't understand how he doesn't get like that. Some of the shit he's advocating for is sus as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't. I just. I'm gonna be frankly honest. I think a lot of it comes from the fact that he's had non-consensual sex and he doesn't consider the person who did it bad, so he refuses to call it what it is.
Well, I mean, like ultimately, like I get where he's coming from in the sense of the experience he had, right? Because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, if he doesn't feel like that situation was bad on his part, like he doesn't experience any trauma or whatever, like ultimately that's his decision, right? But I
Mhm.
think it's like very unhealthy to like discuss that as if it's like a normal thing because
Yeah.
then you're in a sense normalizing that kind of behavior, which maybe for him it didn't cause any trauma or anything, but that can be absolutely traumatic for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he has like a +10 resistance to sexual assault stat, I guess. I don't know. It's just a
I
very
also don't understand, like, how he still doesn't get that, like, okay, Keffals is describing a situation where she was laying on a bed, she was disassociated, she wasn't moving,
Mhm.
and her ex-partner just started having sex with her. She didn't consent or anything, and, like, how he says that we don't have enough information to conclude that that's sexual assault. Like, you have more than enough information. She didn't consent.
Yeah. It's
Like, if at bare minimum, she's not reciprocating by some form of body language that indicates that she's into it, like, that's not consent.
yeah, it's just like fucking what it feels like is like try like I always get sussy. Like I was talking to him at the end about people who try to rules lawyer this kind of thing. Like your number one concern at like as somebody who is like trying to touch butts or whatever should be like whether or not the other person wants to touch butts, no matter how stupid the reason they don't want to touch the butts is, or whether whatever. The fact of the matter is you should care whether the other person wants to touch butts, and that like every you should care about that. Like and the fact that he said maybe on whether or not he would not like he would continue having sex with somebody who said that they were only having sex with them because they were afraid they would leave them.
Mhm.
The fact he said maybe on that is just, like, why? Like, why? Like, as a man, I just can't understand that.
Yeah. It's like I told you, before you went live, we had a brief conversation,
Yeah.
before we went live. There was a situation. It's just crazy when you see these people that just don't understand how this works.
Mhm.
But there was a situation a few years ago
Right.
in the commentary space where there was this guy, Real Stream News, who got accused of like raping some girl. And
Uh-huh.
so like they got him onto a stream and they asked him the situation. And basically he described it. He's like, well, like she consented, and so we had sex, and during the sex she said she didn't want to do it anymore, but I kept going, and we had to explain to him that that's rape then, because someone can withdraw consent during the sex,
Yeah.
and if they tell you they don't want to have sex anymore, then you need to stop. If you keep going, that's rape. And he just couldn't wrap his head around the fact that that was rape. And it's like, how stupid are you? I don't, and I'm getting kind of like the same vibes from this situation where he can't grasp the fact that if somebody's not consenting to you, either verbally or they're not at least showing some kind of body language to indicate that they're interested in what's happening, then that's not consent, and therefore that's sexual assault.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people really, like, I think, like, you'll hear, like, chud men, like, post me, like, you can't even have sex with a girl without getting, like, a full contract or whatever. That's, like, the caricature, right? Like, you've heard
Mhm.
that? And, like, even in the caricature, that's better than having more sexual assault, right?
Mhm.
Even if women were getting, uh like, worried to that point, like, and, like, men were, like, doing, like, it got to that point and stuff like that, I would prefer that than to potentially hurting people.
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it shows where, the priorities are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how he could come away from this conversation thinking that like he optically took the W, because this just looks really fucking
I don't
bad.
know, I don't I'm sure, like, I know that the DGG sphere doesn't like me a lot, so I don't really try to read chat while I'm talking to people, 'cause I want it to be more of a 1v1 thing. I didn't even really want this to be a debate. I didn't the only reason it became a debate is because he bit bullets that I didn't expect him to bite. Um,
Yeah,
because
I can hear the gears working in your head because he would say something and you're like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait."
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the point is, like, if you're going to be covering sexual assault and things like that, you should have a very rock solid foundation of what it is and what it isn't. Because if you don't, then you have really it would it it would be like if, like, I tried to talk about, I don't know, what's a game I've never played? Divinity 2, Sin or whatever. I tried to review a game I never played. It would be like it he has no real business and like, talking about it if you're not if you're going to talk about hard to talk about things and, like, controversial stuff or whatever, you have to make sure what you're doing it for is, like, rock solid, because otherwise you just come off as a clout goblin using the worst parts of people's lives as a way to gather money and clout and stuff like that, and it's just so gross. Like, I don't really comment on a lot of, like, sexual assault stuff because I have no way to verify. I have no way to talk about all of these things or whatever, without, like, potentially, like, hurting someone. That's why I talk about ideas rather than people, because you can, very easily, like, he was trying to bring it back to the Keffals evidentiary thing, and the reason was is because he was scared about sussing out his own value. And when you talk
Mhm.
about ideas, you can't hide behind it, evidence and lack thereof. You are isolating purely what they believe and
Yeah, exactly.
feel. Sure, that was I don't even, like, feel good about this conversation, because, like, I don't know, it's just gross to me. Like, I just I ugh.
Yeah, it's kind of really scary that there are people that exist that think like this because I couldn't, imagine a scenario where like, if I'm doing something sexual with my wife and she's not into it, like why would I even want anything to do with it? Like part of the enjoyment of intimate interactions with your partner is that you're both enjoying it. And if like you're the only one that's into it and they're just like laying there lifeless, like where's the I don't get that.
It's
It doesn't
well, a lot of it is,
it just seems really fucked up.
a lot of it is cultural Christian, I think. Because like, well, I don't know, if you like read like Protestant texts and stuff like that regarding sexuality and marriage and stuff like that, like there's a reason people got married at like 16, 17 back in the day. It's because they were so horny that they just were like, yeah, I'll get the government involved in my sex stuff, I guess, just so that I can finally get this nut off. And like, I guess like in their like, I'm just talking. I don't know what what his name who did I just debate?
Tom
Tom.
Foolery.
Yeah. I don't know, what his, like, upbringing is, but it's very common in, like, Northeastern, Midwestern United States to, like, think that, "Oh, I was celibate for X amount of years until I got married. Now I can just fuck my wife whenever I want." Well, like, I guarantee you, the people that are watching, like, free use porn and stuff like that on, like, things are just, like, people that, like, think that that's what having a trad wife is
Yeah. I think what was crazy is like I had both of your guys' chats pulled up, and there were even people in his chat like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's pretty yikes.
like. Yeah.
God. What
Ugh.
what does Liv think about this shit
I haven't
show?
even talked to her. She's in the other room. She's been sending me messages about my audio and how shitty it is. Um, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's it for the stream, everybody. I hope everybody had just as bad a time as I did.
Yeah, you can I don't know if you can hear my wife, but I was like screaming at the screen, right? Yeah, I was like, what the
Hi,
fuck?
Tippy's wife. Uh,
Hi.
I don't know if you heard her, but she
yeah,
says hi.
I heard her. I just, ugh.
Yeah, see, like the wife exists for everybody who thinks she doesn't exist. The wife, say hello, babe.
Hello.
Yeah, she exists. She's real, a real human being.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna end stream and take a shower. Um,
Yeah, I think after that we both need one, right?
yeah. All right. Well, good talking to you, Tippy. Thanks for sending your crowd my way.
For sure, for
I'm
sure.
gonna see what the aftermath of this is then, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go self terminate.
All right. Have fun.
All right, peace.
All right, guys. Yeah. If you're in the stream, feel free to go ahead and um follow me. I will stream more. That would be cool. I need more of an audience to bounce off of. I hate just kind of just sitting there alone. That's why I've been doing the conversation. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Peace. Good broadcast. Yeah, peace, love,